What's up guys, it's your host Spartanic Arts DxD back with another high school DxD related video. And today we have What If Issei Went Solo, part 7, the finale. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes, and if you guys want to know exactly when I upload my upload schedule, please click the little blue button right next to the subscribe button. And I missaid something about the stream last time. A lot of people are misinterpreting this. So basically what's happening is that yes, she is going to be sitting right next to me. So this is like an in-person stream. Me doing the face reveal at the same time along with her next to me as well. And this stream will happen on Spartanic Arts DxD. I'm not sure about the exact date yet, but hopefully it's soon because unfortunately I had to go in quarantine due to some unfortunate events. But don't worry, I am fine. What If Goku Was the God of Destruction Part 2 is out on my second channel and Palpowski, by the way. And as I'm going to say again, Spartanic Arts DxD on YouTube will have the stream. The YouTube channel. I'm streaming on my YouTube channel, just to make this really clear, because I think a lot of people were confused. And I will be doing a face reveal at the same time. So yes, thank you guys so much for the support. Once again, seriously, it's been absolutely amazing. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes for the final part. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Chapter 29, Internal Bond. Scene break, we're with Ajuka now. As Ajuka already unlocked the secrets that Xiaoba left, he can't help but feel something is missing. You okay there, Ajuka? Seraphal said. Huh? Oh yeah, I'm fine, Ajuka replied. You sure don't look like it, Graphia said. I just been feeling like we missed something. Xiaoba was indeed working on enhancements, but why? Most have an aptitude for certain abilities, then training is the best way, so why enhance them by force? Just what was his goal? What I've been thinking, if he wasn't dead, then we would ask him, Azazel said. Let's just hope it's nothing serious, Ajuka replied. Well, you guys have fun. I'm meeting Issei at the Gregor. I want to study his new ability, Azazel said. Azazel leaves. Meanwhile, with Issei and the others. Alright, I'm meeting with the old crow at the Gregor. He wants to study my promotion ability, Issei said. Alright, everyone said. Issei teleports. Okay, now that he's gone, there's something I need to know, Kuroka said. She was dead serious and it worried the others. Which is, LeVay said? Issei's birthday. I know almost everything about him, from his taste in music, food, movies, etc., but not his birthday. And yes, I've asked him, but he just goes silent, Kuroka said. That's not a good sign, Arthur replied. Irina and Zenobia, you two are practically his sisters. When you were in the foster home, did he ever tell you? Kuroka said. Now that you mention it, he didn't, Zenobia said. He never said anything about it, Irina added on. Damn it, Kuroka said. Maybe his old team can tell us. 5 years is a lot of time to get to know someone, Vali said. I'll go ask him, Irina said. Thanks, Irina. I'll try to do some digging, Kuroka added on. Irina goes to visit Rias at the RC and knocks on the door. Come in. Hey, Rias, Irina said. Hey, Irina, what brings you here, Rias said. I want to know about Issei's birthday, specifically the date, Irina replied. Rias's eyes went wide. Again, she was reminded that in 5 years she truly knew nothing about Issei. The other members weren't so different, for they didn't know as well. His school admission papers has a false date. Only the year was accurate. I'm sorry, Irina. I don't know. We only know the year, Rias replied. Then how do we find out? Irina said. Rias was now determined to put an effort to find out the date. I'll start looking into it and I'll call you, Rias replied. Okay, thanks, Rias, Irina said. Irina goes back to her team and Rias immediately goes online to search all of the hospitals in Ko Town. The whole list of every child born from the start of the year 2000 to 2002. You're really hell-bent on finding out, Akane said. Of course I am. He was there to celebrate ours, but never once did we even think about him. It's time we fixed that, Rias said. Better late than never. I'll help, Kiba said. Same here, Ozzy replied. I'll help my bro, Sharona said. I'll make some coffee. All of us will be here for a while, Akane said. As the team Rias signed researching on their phones and laptop, Issei reaches the Gregor and is welcomed by Barkul and Azazel. Hey guys, Issei said. Congratulations on being Cyborg, Issei my boy, Barkul replied. Thanks, man, Issei said. Alright, Issei, I want you to show me that one evil pieces that you have left, Azazel said. Only Rook and Bishop remain, Issei replied. Either is fine, Azazel said. Interesting. My theory was correct. You absorb the properties of the 8 pawn pieces after rejecting them, and those properties were later transferred to the king piece since the evil pieces are the original containers. But why did they mutate? Issei said. It's because they took to your fallen and dragon powers, and after transferring to the king piece, the other pieces also did the same after its attributes were amplified to the point where even your balance breaker would have those attributes. It's beautiful. Such a unique occurrence, Azazel said. Beautiful, huh? Issei replied. Issei looked at the rook piece and looked at the colors. They reminded him of his true love. I know that look on your face, Azazel says. Huh? You really do love her, don't you? You want to marry her, Azazel replied. No point in lying. Yeah, I would love nothing more. I need a favor, Issei said. You want me to go to ring shopping with you? Better ask Grafia, Azazel said. Not shopping for a ring. I need you to make a necklace, Issei said. I went from being a scientist and a fallen governor general to a jeweler just like that. Wow, Azazel said. It's one-time thing, Issei replied. Come on now, we can do this young lad one small favor. We both know how he feels, Sparkle replied. Okay, fine, you win. So what do you have in mind? Well, back with Team Issei and Team Rias, they met up and cross-referenced their findings. Find out anything useful, Keo said. Yeah, humans breed like rabbits, Kiva said. Well, you're not wrong, Volley said. No, there are too many children even searching using his name filters, Kiba said. Issei teleports home. Hey guys, what's up? Nothing, everyone goes at the same time. Issei raised his eyebrows. I know you're lying, but I'm a bit busy. Any one of you still carry my old pawn pieces? I have two, Akano said. I need one. It's for a test, Issei replied. Akano tosses him a pawn piece. Issei catches it and smiles. Now you're up to something. Care to share, lover? Kuroka said. Issei looks at Kuroka, walks up to her, and kisses her. You'll find out soon, hon. I'll be back as soon as I can. Issei creates a portal and dives in. He's really ever that excited, maybe on the other hand in bed. For the love of Mother Nature, enough sex jokes, everyone said at the same time. Ha! Kuroka replied. Issei teleports back to the Gregar and gives Azazel the piece. There's one more thing I need. Some of your scales, Azazel said. Why? Issei replied. Dragon scales are the most absolute, almost indestructible, so I'll make a chain out of it, Azazel said. Alright, Issei replied. Issei pulls off some of his scales, which will take time to grow back. He gives Azazel the scales who began to melt them down, but it'll take a while since Issei is a fire dragon and the scales are resistant. Azazel begins to use the rook piece and manages to copy some of the attributes into the pawn piece. Issei used his magic to change its shape into thin, long diamond. It came out just as Issei hoped. After a while, the scales scummed to the melting process and turned to a molten liquid. Azazel immediately poured it into a mold and let it cool. It took over an hour to cool down, and then Issei and Azazel worked together to create the most beautiful necklace ever. A reddish-black chain with a golden gem with red and black smoke like a pattern in it, as it was created by using Issei's powers and scales. Only whom he loves and see its magnificence glow and beauty. Damn, that was hard work, Azazel said. Yeah, but it was worth it, Issei replied. Yeah, I'll admit. Well, you've been here for a few hours. Your friends are waiting for you, Azazel said. Thanks for everything, old man. Happy to help, kiddo. Issei goes home feeling all giddy. He hides the necklace in his jacket pocket and then enters through the door. Whoa, what happened to you guys with all the phones and laptops? Issei replied. Everyone was going through the list and still found nothing. Truth be told, we were looking up your birth certificate, Volley said. Why? Issei replied. Because we want to know your birthday, Ria said. Again, why? Issei said. What do you mean, why? Because no one knows, and it's important to you and us, Irina said. Issei was no longer feeling giddy. He looked through their research and noticed the dates. So you guys went through all the hospital lists in Ko from almost 20 years ago? You guys sure are dedicated, I'll give you that. But you won't find in any of the listed Ko hospitals, Issei said. What do you mean? Buko replied. I wasn't born here. I was born in a village where my mother's late parents lived. My birth records were misplaced soon after I was put in foster for obvious reasons. Sorry you guys wasted your time, Issei said. Then only know when your birthday is then, Zenobia says. Yep, but that's not important now. Come on, man. We spent hours looking for one bit of info. Please tell us, Keeper replied. Okay, but promise that you won't do anything about it, Issei said. Nope, no promises. Now spill it, Ria said. Okay, it's today. Everyone goes at the same time. What? Yep, it's today, and not for long since it's only a few hours till the day ends, Issei said. Oh, like that will stop us. Sharona, you know what to do, Kuroka said. On it, Sharona said. Don't you dare do what I think you're about to do, Issei said. Sorry, bro. Too many of you against us. Just give in. Ugh, Fuck it, let's just get wasted, Issei said. Everyone starts to party. Rias tells Serzex, Grathia, Sona, Ajuka, Serafal, Barkil, and Azazel to come right over. They all rush over in minutes with cakes in hand, along with beer. Lots of beer. All get wasted to the point where their blood ought to be replaced by alcohol. Issei controls his drinking to actually remember the night and eat some cake. So enjoying the cake, Shirone picked it. Kuroka said, she's the lover of all sweets, thus making her the expert. You got a little bit of cake on your face. Kuroka licks the cake off Issei's face like a little kitten. Issei looked at his girlfriend, looking at the last bit of her fingers, and Issei was definitely aroused. Looks like the dragon is ready once again, Kuroka said. Let's go to her room. I need to show you something, and it's not what you think, Issei said. Both go to their room, and Issei pulls out a small box from his jacket. What the? Kuroka said. It's for you. Azazel and I worked on it, Issei said. She opened the box and fell to her knees. The necklace was the most beautiful piece of jewelry she had ever seen. This? For me? Kuroka said. Yes, the gem is made from an old pawn piece I took from Akano, and the chain is made from some of my scales. That's why you were gone for so long, Kuroka said. Yeah, try it on, Issei said. Kuroka wastes no time and immediately puts it on. The gem began to glow and gave off slow flames like light. The same Kuroka did when she became her queen. Issei? Yeah? Do it. Make me your mate. Wait, you're talking about the mating bond? There's no going back once it's done, Issei said. I don't care. I wouldn't want to go back, so please do it, Kuroka said. Kuroka strips off her clothes and pushes him on the bed, and she gets on top of him. I honestly feel the same way. I have for a while now, Issei said. Then why not tell me about it, Kuroka replied. Because I'm afraid that you'll love me one day and never again the next. I've lost too many loved ones too quickly, so I just want to make sure, Issei said. You were afraid. That's why you took so long to admit that we're dating, Kuroka said. Yeah, I apologize. Don't apologize. Prove to me that you want me just as much as I want you. Anything for my queen, Issei said. I'm forever yours, my king. And this is where the 18 plus parts, and I am not going to repeat that. Let's skip it. Kuroka, I love you. I love you too. And that's the end of Chapter 29, Internal Bond. Chapter 30, The Plan and the Threat. Issei and Kuroka are now officially mates. The fallen Dragon King now has a partner that will be very reason for living. Kuroka woke up to the next morning feeling happier than ever. She remembered becoming Issei's mate and saw 3 things that proved it. Her mark, her necklace, which was still glowing, and Issei himself, who was smiling in his sleep. Kuroka looked at the time and saw that it was past 10 a.m. She was too happy and just snuggles next to Issei. Even in his sleep, he knew that it was her and embraced her. Her peace was later disrupted when LeFay knocked on the door. Hey, what's up? Kuroka said. Breakfast is ready. You guys coming? LeFay said. Kuroka looks at still sleeping Issei. Nah, I think I'll stay here a bit longer. I'm happy here, Kuroka said. LeFay can see that she really means it. She's happy, and her brightful, joyful, calm aura is proof of it. Alright then, I'll tell the others, LeFay said. Thanks, LeFay. LeFay leave, and Kuroka lays back in bed. She touched the cat mark on Issei's chest and saw his memories. She saw the recent ones of the necklace being made. Flashback. So this gorgeous light can only be seen by those I love, huh? Issei said. Yeah, even I can see it a little bit. You must really care for me. Ha! Well, we are drinking buddies after all, Issei said. Your girl will love it, Azazel said. I hope so. But only one thing worries me, Azazel says. I know what you're going to say. What if my former team members can't see the light and they figure out what that means? Exactly. It'll hurt them, Azazel says. I may have forgiven them, but loving them is another story. Shirley will definitely be able to see it, since I see her as my little sister now, but the others, especially her. A part of them should expect this much. They may have changed for the better and do right by the 5 years of hell will definitely have a lot of pent-up anger, Azazel said. But I let it out. I held nothing back, Issei said. But still, the memories linger like phantom pain, Azazel said. It reduced after I forgave them, but it's still all there, Issei said. And nothing can be done about it. What's done is done. You have friends now, a girlfriend who might even become your mother of your children one day, Azazel said. Having kids with her would truly be the best thing to ever happen, but I don't deserve that honor. Just being in love with someone like her and having her love me is just... I can't even describe it, Issei said. You don't have to. You took a piece of your horrible last and made it into something of a kind and all for her. That, my boy, is pure love. And now that I think about it, you shouldn't give it a shit whether or not anyone else sees it. If they do, then they know they are loved, and Kuroka will always be number one. If the others don't see it, then they know where they stand and why. That's actually good advice. It helped a lot. Thanks, Azazel. Now go get your girl a present. The end of the dream. Kuroka holds her necklace and it glowed so brightly the instant she touched it. The bright light caused Issei to wake up to some extent. Someone extinguished the sun, Issei said. Kuroka didn't give a damn about him being asleep. She grabbed both of his hands and pinned him on his back and then French kissed him. Issei was now clearly awake and loved the wake-up call. Both broke the passionate kiss because they needed to breathe. One hell of a wake-up call. I love it, Issei said. You took part of your dark past and made something this beautiful for me, and I fucking love you, Issei. She now lay on his body and began to cry. Hey, why are you crying? Issei said. I saw your memories from yesterday. You don't care how your old team might feel, huh? I only care about what you think and feel. You didn't happen to see anything else from my memories, did you? Issei said. Like the part about having kids and not thinking you deserve that? Yeah, that. I saw it, and believe me when I said that you do deserve to be with Happy, and as for the kids, well, I kind of want a lot of kids. Like how many? Issei said. As possible as because there's so few of us Nekomata left, Kuroka said. Wait, for real? What happened to everyone? The Great War killed off a lot of us. Shirone and I are just 2 of the few dozen remaining. Issei then smirks. Looks like then we'll be getting busy then. When do we start? In time. Now that you're up, let's go eat. I'm hungry, Kuroka said. Kuroka gets up and puts her on her kimono, but hardly came to her chest. She clearly wants to show off her dragon mark. Issei comes behind her and looks at her. Wow. Kuroka blushes. Enough teasing. Let's go, lover, Kuroka said. Both go eat breakfast with the others, and they notice the mark on her chest. Issei and Kuroka explain, and Issei shows the mark as well. They all congratulate the two. While the other chat, Issei texts Zex and Grafia saying that he wants to talk to them. They set up a time for later. As the time came, Issei immediately goes after his team has a day off. So what's going on? Zex said. I want to use that favor, but it's 2-part favor, Issei said. Interesting. Go on. I want you to ask Kuroka to marry me. Grafia begins to act like a little girl. Yes, Grafia said. I can't believe my little bro wants to get married so soon, Zex said. Yeah, I'm ready for it. She even wants kid, but I believe marriage comes first. So big sis, I'll need your help getting the perfect ring. And Zex, would you marry us off? It would be my honor, Zex said. I know the perfect place for a ring. When do we start looking? It's best if you take Irina and Zenobia with you. They knows about her taste in jewelry better than I do, Issei said. That's a good idea, Grafia replied. I'll distract her while the others prepare a setup. This needs to be a surprise, so we should take our time. We did just become mates, so why have all the fun right away? You really have grown up, Issei. It was about time I did, and I'm glad. Alright then, Grafia, go with the girls and look for the ring. I'll talk to the others about how to make the perfect setup, Zex said. Right. Issei, I'll send the ring to you when we find it. Now let's hope I can control my excitement enough so that she won't suspect much, Issei said. With the mating bond, yeah, right. Best to not let her see your memories like before, Zex replied. Better lock them up safe, Issei said. Let's start right away. I'll message LeFay as well. We don't want to leave her out. Grafia contacts them and meets them at the caf. She tells them of one of the plan and the girls almost squeal from joy. Zex contacts the guys on Issei's team and plans for the way to distract Kuroka. They all decide to make sure the proposal is carried out after the party celebrating the rating game win, which was next month. Plenty of time to make Kuroka think about nothing is happening to some extent. Grafia found the perfect ring, a solid gold ring with flawless diamonds surrounded by rubies and sapphires. Issei kept the ring in his pocket dimension that he could only access. The guys told Issei to take Kuroka on a date while they prepare the decorations and music, plus food, and they come home. Eventually, the rating celebration has come and everyone was looking quite fashionable. Everyone there welcomed Team Red, but shocked to see Kao holding the true Longinus. All the devils cowered in fear until Issei spoke up. Everyone please calm down. He's on our side and doesn't want to harm anyone, Issei said. They calmed down to some extent, but still stayed alert. The spear was capable of killing everyone in the ballroom, after all. I can vouch for him. He's part of my brother Issei's team. The crowd gasped. Zex, we're doing this? Right here? Issei said. Yeah, we are. Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? Today is not just a celebration of my little brother winning the rating game, but its official debut as a high-class devil, even though I promoted him a while ago. Beal and Citra at the same time. What? Yeah, surprise. About time, Riser said. You knew? Sona said. He was too powerful to be just a pawn. It's only natural that someone would see that in time. Yo, Issei, meet my sister Ravel. It's an honor to meet you, Red Dragon Emperor, Ravel said. The pleasure is all mine, and please just call me Issei. As you wish. A gesture of goodwill. She hands him a small box of phoenix tears. Phoenix tears? I can't possibly accept this, Ravel. No need to be modest, Issei. Consider it a small token of appreciation for helping us, Riser said. Alright then, if you both insist, thank you. Ravel, come meet the rest of the team, Issei said. Ravel introduces herself to Team Issei. So Ravel, what made you want to join us? Kuroka said. Because a part of me feels like it's my responsibility to help make things right for what my brother did, Ravel said. That's not your responsibility, Ravel. It was his choices, not your burden. Don't force yourself. I agree, Kuroka said. But I want for personal reasons. I'm expected to be so much like my siblings, to be strong and fulfill everyone's expectations, and I was hoping that it would be different in your team. I'm sorry for my selfishness, Ravel said. Ravel, you need only ask. We treat each other like family, so if you want to be a part to be free of your burdens, then you're more than welcome. If you still wish to achieve such feats, then do it your own way, and we'll help, Kuroka said. Thank you all so much, Ravel replied. Welcome to the family, Ravel, Issei said. I only have one concern. She's a phoenix. If she accepts Issei's bishop piece, then won't she become a fallen? Byoka said. That's a choice Ravel must take, Arthur replied. You really are smarter than you look, monkey, Shirone said. Here? Really? Byoka replied. I'm okay with it. I'll be missing a phoenix. But I want some freedom even more than that, Ravel replied. I have an idea. Why not both? Issei said. What are you talking about, Issei? Rias replied. Think about it. My piece is mutated to suit me and my team, so why not modify the bishop piece a little bit? Issei said. You can actually do that? Akano replied. I can try. Issei manipulated the bishop piece so that it won't completely change Ravel from Phoenix to Fallen. The piece began to emit black and golden energy and merged with Ravel. Her golden flame rings were now mixed with black flames. Whoa, Ravel said. I'm the first Fallen Dragon King, and you're the first Fallen Phoenix. And I'm still part Phoenix, Ravel said? Yes, and if you ever want to go back to being a pure Phoenix, then you need to only tell me. I made this piece so that it doesn't latch on to your soul like every other piece. You want freedom after all, so why not continue being bound from one team to another, Issei said. Damn, that's some good thinking, LaFay said. Azazel and I will have a field day with that. Ha, Volley replied. Guys, look sharp. Lord Odin is here and he's coming our way. The All-Father Odin? Issei said. Red Dragon Emperor Issei. Congrats on becoming a king officially and having a team. Oh my, who is this? Odin says. Odin said, looking at Kuroka. She's my queen, Kuroka, and my mate. Your mate? Rias said. And just like you have my respect. Oh, I almost forgot. This is Rosvisa, my number one Valkyrie, Odin said. Rosvisa is a woman who has long silky silver hair with turquoise eyes. Her gentle white skin and beautiful face almost rivals Kuroka. Even her chest was just as big and slim figure would tempt any man. Her gorgeous one-strap dress left enough to just be imagination. Pleased to meet everyone. Rosvisa said. The pleasure is ours, Volley replied. Everyone was surprised to see Volley being the first to respond so quickly. They saw him trying to control his blush, and it was clearly the hardest thing he ever had to do. I want to come here to congratulate you personally, and hope that we would make an alliance with the Fallen and the Devils. Sir Zex already agreed, but I wanted to start with the Fallen Dragon King, hoping to create an alliance with the dragons as well, Odin said. I can tell your intentions are pure. Truly want the best for everyone, All-Father. I would like to work together. What do you say, partner? Drake said. Peace is everyone's goal, including my own, so yes, you can count me in, Issei said. This is the moment that changes our future for the better, Odin replied. Not for long. Incoming, Orpheus said. What? Issei replied. Just then a portal appears in the ballroom. Norse magical circle, Arthur said. Loki, Odin said. Loki, the master of mischief, appears through the portal. I won't let peace exist, old man. Ragnarok is coming, Loki said. You stupid boy. Ending the world will be no good. Go back. Like hell, Loki said. So be it. Odin makes a barrier around Loki and seals him. It won't hold him for long. We only got a few minutes, Odin said. We need to evacuate, Sir Zex replied. Let us fight him. We got 3 Longinus users right here. What about me, Sauerorg said. You're one of the last lines of defense in case we fall. Like you said, you'll use the lion in case the underworld is in trouble. Well, now it's in trouble. I'll help fight, Sir Zex said. No, stay with the others and create a barrier. You have the power to do so, and the other Devil Kings, Kuroka said. We can handle him. Orpheus, will you help? I only observe, Orpheus said. We'll help. We won't sit by and let you do all the work anymore, Rias said. You know that he can kill you, Issei said. Better to die fighting than be a coward, Rias replied. Fine. So is everyone ready? Everyone at the same time? Yes. I'll call Thor and tell him to send Mjolnir. It's a powerful weapon, enough to defeat Loki. Issei and Volley here, and strong enough to lift it. I'm sorry, but I can't bring myself to fight my son. Forgive me, Odin said. All Father Odin, it's his choice. I'm sure you tried your best to teach him the right things, Zenovia said. We can handle him. We just need to move ourselves far away to avoid the others in the crossfire, Irina said. I'll teleport you guys and Loki to the barren lands a couple of miles out, Azazel said. The seal is cracking, Sharone said. On it, Azazel replied. Azazel teleports everyone there, including Loki. He breaks the seal soon after. Damn that old foo. What the? Odin in the devil fruit sent me mere children? That's just insulting, Loki says. Rosvisa also teleports to the location. Loki, please stop. Odin might still forgive you, Rosvisa said. Loki scoffs and fires a magic blast to send her flying back. Volley catches her. You alright? Volley said. Rosvisa blushes. Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. Loki, you're dead, Issei said. Bring it on, Loki replied. And that's the end of chapter 30. The Plan and the Threat. Chapter 31. Loki. Issei and Volley go at the same time. Balance break. The heavenly dragons actually working together. Truly a sign for Ragnarok to happen sooner or later, Loki said. Keep making jokes, Loki, because they will be your last, Issei replied. Why not continue to make them? After my friends, take care of you and your team, Loki said. Loki summons 3 large wolves. One is the largest Fafnir, standing 10 meters tall. The other 2 are 5 and 3 meters tall, but still a threat. Next, he summons 2 giant serpent clones of Midgard serpent Dromda. Both were easily over 1,000 meters in length. Oh shit, Ozia said. You can say that again. Oh shit. Everyone be careful. Those are his kids. Fafnir's fangs can kill gods, Rias replied. They can? Wait, did you say that they are his kids? Issei said, yeah, so? Loki is an animal fucker? Oh, I'm going to be sick, Issei said. No wonder you're the problem child, because that's just fucked up, Volley said. Kuroka actually vomits right there and then. You alright, love? Issei said. Yeah, I'm just feeling nauseous after a bomb being dropped, Kuroka replied. Issei could sense through the bond that something else was going on with Kuroka. Just before Issei could ask her, Loki threw a tantrum. How dare you merely and Quims mock me like that? Loki said. Then how would you like us to mock you? We take request, Issei said. Remind you guys of anyone? Rias replied. Back at the ballroom. Achoo! Why do I feel like someone just insulted me, said Riser. Back to Loki. I will kill you myself, boy, while he takes care of the rest, Loki said. Loki creates a magic circle from out a person with long blonde hair and wearing purple armor. The sight made Kuroka's blood boil. How are you still alive, Shalba? Kuroka said. No thanks to you. Now I'm back and I'll kill you and your sister, Shalba said. Touch her and I'll finish what I started, Kuroka replied. Her power flared up and her wings spread. Hold on, Kuroka. He makes you angry, and you're letting him get to you, Issei said. Kuroka controls her anger because of his words. You're right. Should we split up? Yes, Team Gremory will hold off the other serpents. Ravel, Lefay, Arthur, Buka can handle the other serpent. Irina, Zenovia, Keo, Volley, and Rosvisa can handle the mutts. Kuroka, you can handle Shalba, and I'll look for Loki. And I'll handle Loki, Issei said. Finally, I get payback for the hell you put me through, Kuroka said. Don't think it'll be so easy, you damn cat. You're not the only one who was enhanced. You may have become stronger, but so have I, Shalba said. Kuroka spreads her 8 wings and powers up. Issei boosts his power by 10x and transfers it to her. Her power is now greater than she could ever imagine, but it's temporary. You better end the fight quickly, Volley said. But his death will be slow and painful, Kuroka replied. Team Rias fights off the 1 serpents. It was taking their full strength just to do toe-to-toe with only one. A clone, who was nowhere near the power of the original possesses. Kiba's sword birth could only scratch the scales. Akino's lightning and light spears barely did anything but hold its back. Rias used her power of destruction. It was going to be the most damage. It was actually ripping and destroying the pieces of serpents, but only in small amounts. Their energy was being drained completely. Sharona used her Nekomata powers to a whole new level. Her training got to the point where she is now where Kuroka was prior to becoming Issei's queen. Using all that senjutsu caused her petty body to grow, and yes, this included her tiny tits. Her figure was now similar to Irina's, and her hair grew longer. Combine that with all the heroic abilities, she became a threat that even a high-class devil won't want to fight. She tripped the scales in her favor by using her sage magic on the serpent's spine and used her strength to force it in repeatedly. The serpent was eventually put to sleep after its spinal cord shut down. Ravel, Arthur, Buko, and LeFay don't hold back. LeFay used one spell after one another. Arthur promoted to Knight and attacked one spot on the serpent's side again and was able to create a weak spot instead of fighting one. Buko and Ravel used their strength in flames. Ravel's new gold and black flames were unique. Everything she would send a fireball hit the serpent clone that its spot on world continued to burn. The continuous burning caused it great pain, and no matter how much it thrashed in the dirt and the flames burned. The scales gave it some protection, but the weak spot Arthur made didn't. There was exposed flesh and Ravel burned it. Buko summoned his flying nimbus and went sky high. He started a high speed dive and then leveled out the serpent's weak spot and extended his staff. The extending staff combined with his strength and speed penetrated its side and crushed its organs, causing the several and turning bleeding. Everyone backed off, and Ravel created a large pillar of black flames and sent it through the serpent's mouth, burning it inside out, leaving nothing but bones, which began to burn. They were exhausted after all that, especially Ravel. Team Rias joined them after seeing the dark flames. Ravel, was that you who turned the snake into bones? With the help of my team, yes. Nice job, Shrone said. Shrone, is that you? You look different. You look good, Buko replied. Thanks. Nice job crushing its organs. Both blushed at their awkward flirting methods. Oh, for the love of... Just go already! Jeez! Come on, guys, it's not like that, Buko said. Oh, please. Even I too, you like each other. Is it that obvious? Shrone replied. Yes. Akano said with a blank face. Shrone, will you go out with me? Buko said. Sure. Woohoo! KO in the distance. Guys, I'm sorry for ruining the moment, but we could use some help here, KO said. On our way, Arthur replied. KO and the others were fighting one of the Runts, aka one of the Fafnir's kids, aka Loki's grandkid. The Mutts were stronger than the Serpent clones, and put up a far better fight. Irina and Zenobia were fighting another Runt, while Vali and Rosvisa fought off Fafnir. Rosvisa summoned the chains of Glefnir to bind Fafnir. Vali divided Fafnir's power to make it easier for Rosvisa to bind him. That works perfectly. We make a good team, Vali said. Yes, we do, Rosvisa replied. In the distance, Issei and Kuroko were fighting Loki and Shalba. Issei used his queen form to hold his own against Loki, but Issei isn't a god. Even with the boosted gear, he can only fight for so long. Kuroko was doing better and was definitely ripping Shalba a new one. She broke every magical shield he used. He deflected and countered his every other attack and used her fingers to damage his chakra points. He felt his body slowly going numb and could no longer use magic. What the hell have you done to me? Shalba said. You should worry about that when I'm going to do you little by little, cunt, Kuroko said. She digs her claws into his guts and rips them apart. It was basically a fatality from MK. He died slowly and very painfully. Kuroko got her revenge at the last, and this time there will be no consequences. Loki saw Shalba being ripped apart. His serpents defeated, and the Mutts are also losing. He underestimated everyone here, and he knew he would lose if he had to fight them all. No, he would die. He won't risk it. Issei was about to blast him away. Enough, Loki said. Loki sent a shockwave that forced Issei to fall on his back, then flip on his gut. His armor was badly damaged. Enough of this foolishness, Loki said. Loki bound Issei using the binding spell and created a sword. Just before he could stab him, Kuroko appeared and tackled Loki. Loki got up and saw that the others were on their way. Loki was now dead serious. The instant the others showed up, he cast a powerful gravity spell and bound the others on the ground. Kuroko managed to not get caught and tried to undo the binding spell on Issei. No, you don't, Loki said. Loki smacked her into the rock and transmutes the stone around her arms and legs. Loki, get the fuck away from her, Issei said. Why is she so special to you? Loki said. I said get away, Issei replied. Ha, I see now. She's your mate, isn't she? Loki removes Kuroko's Kiyomo. Don't you dare touch me, animal fucker, Kuroko said. I love it when you try to resist. I must commend you, Dragon Emperor. Your mate is gorgeous. Loki began moving his fingers over her body. Yes, very nice. Not bad at all for a Nekomata. What was that you said about me mating with animals? Do you wish to be on the receiving end, little cat? Leave my sister alone, Shrone said. Another one. Not bad either. I think I'll keep you two around and let the rest of you die when Ragnarok comes, Loki said. Loki then continues to touch Kuroko, whose shoulders whatever is moving. Loki, I'm warning you. For the last time, let her go. Issei said. Oh, come on now. You don't mind sharing, do you? Loki moves his hand over her abdomen and halts. It seems you already have been bred. Such a waste. A disgrace to use such a body to carry the seed of a filthy fallen dragon, Loki said. This caught everyone's attention. What? Kuroka, is that true? I'm going to be a dad? Issei said. Yeah, I didn't want you to find out this way, Kuroka replied. Everyone was still under the heavy gravity spell and couldn't move. Not even Volley or Keokeo, but were shocked to hear the revelation. No, Red Dragon, you won't be the father, Loki said. Loki grabs his sword and stabs Kuroka in the womb. Kuroka screams and so do the others. Loki laughs like a psychopath and lets Kuroka drop to the ground motionlessly. Issei looks in horror, everything in his slow motion. Seeing Kuroka laying there, bleeding, her clutching her wound and others screaming trying to get her. Kuroka, the one he loves, the one who made him happy, the mother of his unborn child, laying there bleeding. Kuroka looked towards Issei and shed a tear. Issei just snapped. A massive power erupted. It broke the spell binding. Issei slowly got up and walked towards Kuroka, and Loki was still busy laughing to notice. Issei used whatever sense he had left to pull out a phoenix tear and used it to heal his mate. She was fully healed physically, but what Loki did won't heal. Kuroka wept and Issei spoke in a tone that frightened even her. You're all right now. I'm here, but I need you to do one thing. Free the others and run away. Issei replied. What do you? Kuroka said. Kuroka saw Issei's eyes and had nothing but anger and death in them. Dregs? What happened to Issei? Kuroka said. He can't hear me. I can't stop him. He's about to activate it. Run, damn it, run! Dreg said. Kuroka was scared, and her life in the others. She got up and fixed her clothes as she went to the others. With the powers and stamina restored from the Phoenix Tear, with Loki distracted, his grip on the gravity spell was really weak, and enough for Kuroka to undo it. The others got up and saw Kuroka perfectly fine. Then they all felt it. The killing intent. They looked at the source, and it was Issei. Is that really him? Volley said. We have to leave now. It's happening and we can't stop it, Kuroka said. You don't mean. Yes, it's the Juggernaut drive, and we'll die if we stay here. Loki finally notices the malicious aura coming from behind him. He looked at Issei and what he saw was the stuff of nightmares. What in the name of Asgard, Loki said. And that is the end of Chapter 31, Loki. Chapter 32, Juggernaut Drive. What are you? Loki said. Several green orbs of light appeared and surrounded Issei, who was unleashing aura so dark that it looked like it was absorbing the light around it. Several voices came from all the orbs, all in sync with Issei's words. I, who shall awaken. I am the heavenly dragon god who stole the principle of domination from God. I mock the infinite and grieve over the dream. I shall become the red dragon of domination. I shall drown you in the depths of crimson purgatory. Juggernaut drive. Issei's army self-repaired, and all 12 of his wings spread out, his horns releasing a long flame that jet ignited the air around it and created an explosive sound. Issei's armor began to change. It was turning from solid metal to almost organic. It changed from red to black, and with red cracks that showed power flowing through them, the power of enraged dragon. Issei began to grow in size until he was 15 meters tall. What followed next made Loki turn white from fear. A god was now afraid. Issei and his Juggernaut drive roared while releasing a wave of energy that went on for miles. Loki, in his state of fear, included panic, looked for a way to escape. He got a glimpse of Fafnir and his pups. He released the chains on Fafnir and called for them. Fafnir and Runts, attack now! Loki hoped that their fangs would kill Issei. Issei noticed the incoming wolves and gave them a death glare. The wolves immediately stopped after receiving the glare from being that was now far, far more horrific and powerful than their master Loki. Attack, damn it! Loki said. The wolves cowered in fear, and literally shrunk to show submission, in exchange for mercy. Issei looked back towards Loki and gave him the same look. Loki, now desperate, tried to run away until Issei seemingly teleported, but it was his speed alone that did it. Loki attacked, but his spells did nothing but piss him off even more. Issei used his tail to send Loki flying through several rocks. Issei put his speed once again, and was standing right behind him. He boosted his power and thrust punched Loki into the ground, creating a massive crater. If it wasn't for the Asgardian durability, that it would have been a quick, merciful death. Loki now cursed his ability because he was begging for death, and from being thrown around like a ragdoll, his pride shattered after one punch. His ego shattered in the wind. The humiliation from getting tossed around by a being he looked down on a moment ago was destroying him. Issei only continues to make it worse. He grabbed Loki by the side of his head and dragged it on the other side and his body through the gravel. The force and friction eventually started to rip off his skin. Loki screamed from being unable to handle the pain. Issei wanted to make him suffer more. The voices of the past boosted gear all tell the same thing. More pain. Make him experience true pain. He hurt your mate. He killed your unborn child. Issei separated numerous feathers from his wings and turned them into very thin wires and forced them through Loki's body. Issei heated the wires to cauterize any unwanted internal bleeding. They penetrated his skin and went into his spine, carefully separating the bones from the spinal cord. Loki was shrieking at this point from the truly agonizing pain. It could be heard for kilometers easily. Issei was avoiding all the vital spots but hitting every nerve, and Issei was just getting started. He welded the wires into Loki's rape shaft and balls. All the nerves were going into overdrive and adrenaline was coursing through his veins, preventing him from blacking out. Loki was basically vibrating from the pain. He could no longer scream or breathe. Issei saw this, still burning bones of the serpent clone, and had an idea. Issei created his signature light spear and impaled Loki through the shoulder. Issei walked over to the burning bones and held Loki over the flames. Issei was barbecuing a Norse god. Vali, Kuroka, Rias, and Serzek showed up just in time to see the horror that would haunt anyone. The sound Loki shrieking definitely got their attention. Loki could only focus on two things: the pain in Issei's face, the face of a dragon emperor that was the bringer of his death. The roar and growl coming from those jaws will be the last thing he sees and hears. Serzek was horrified at the sight. "Oh, fuck," Vali said. Rias fainted at the sight. Serzek caught her. "Issei?" Kuroka replied. Loki's facial expressions was created from the purest form of turn and agony. Issei was burning Loki's limbs, first slowly cooked them, then moved up to his torso, then his spinal cord. Issei cracked Loki's skull and open. He used the blood leaving from the brain and cooked the brain and its fluids. Serzek vomits at the sight. The putrid stench was way too much. Loki was finally dead, and Issei let out a victory roar, then walked over to Fafnir and the pups who were still cowering in fear. Issei threw Loki's barbecued body to them. He commanded them in a voice that demanded compliance. And seeing Loki's barbecued body and face was all the more reason to obey him. "Eat," Issei said. The three wolves smelled the meat and hunger got the best of them. They ravaged the meat off the bones, and if it hadn't eaten in weeks, they finished quickly, leaving nothing but bones and metal wires in the humanoid frame that show exactly where they attached to the body. The wolves bowed their heads in submission to Issei. "We have to turn him back," Kuroka said. "How? He's far more powerful than I could ever imagined him using the Juggernaut drive. If one of us went near him, then we're dead," Vali said. "What if we all try?" Rosvisa said. "I have an idea. I might be able to slow him down while Rosvisa uses the change of Glepir to try to hold him down. Vali, you can divide his power, and Kuroka, we all know your voice can reach him. I know I'm asking for a lot what happened to you, but you can use the bond and calm him down," Serzek said. "I already lost enough in my life. I won't lose him again. Let's do it," Kuroka said. Serzek teleports Rias and the others to execute their plan. Serzek called out to Issei, who got their attention. Issei didn't even recognize them and attacked them using Fire Breath and Energy Blast. Serzek dodged them but didn't attack. He couldn't risk hurting his brother. Rosvisa grabbed the chains and sent them towards Issei, began binding him, and he clearly won't hold him for long. "Vali, now! I who shall awaken, I am the heavenly dragon, who lost all the principle of domination. I envy the infinite and long for the dream. I shall become the white dragon that masters the path of domination. I take you to the furthest limits of innocence. Juggernaut drive," Vali says. Vali enters the Juggernaut drive and charges full speed towards Issei. He clings to him and used his massive dragon jaws to rip Issei's armor to pieces. Issei breaks loose and Vali jumps back. "Divide times 70, Albion sighed. All the power Vali divided was too much for him to contain and let it all out through his wings. All of the strain forced him to revert to his regular balance breaker. "Kuroka, you're up," Vali said. Issei shrunk back down to his regular size, but still in partial Juggernaut drive. Kuroka latches onto him. "Issei, you have to come back to me, please. You won. You beat Loki. You beat him for me. Now just come back to me, please," Kuroka said. The mark on her chest begins to glow, and so does the mark on Issei's. He released all his energy in a single fire breath attack straight into the air. The sky was now burning. Having no energy to maintain the Juggernaut drive, the armor begins to crack and he falls apart. Issei opened his eyes and comes to his senses. Issei, thank heavens you're back, Kuroka said. Volley and Sir Zex got a slight headache after hearing heaven. I'm back to my old self, Issei said. So you remember what happened, Volley said. Not all of it, just bits and pieces, but I know what I did, and what happened prior to it. Kuroka, did we lose them? Our unborn children? Because I can't sense the change in the fell I felt earlier. Please tell them they're okay. Sir Zex looks to Volley, who nods. Sir Zex is heartbroken. Even Rosweitz sheds a tear. Or two even only knew Kuroka for an hour or two. I'm sorry, Issei, but I can't sense it either. We lost them, Kuroka said. No, Issei said. Issei fired off a few dragon shots at the bones and completely destroyed any remains of them. Both began to cry in each other's arms. The others soon appeared after no longer sensing Issei's haunting aura. They all saw the devastated looks on their faces of the two crying. Rias looked to Sir Zex. They all did, thinking about the same question. Did they lose their unborn? Sir Zex sheds a tear, and that was the confirmation they hoped that would never come. They all sat next to the two, but lost what they could have been best blessing in their lives. Almost everyone cried. Rosweitz couldn't take the crying because she feared too much such a fate, and seeing it happen to her comrades made her cry as well. Volley was there too, and her was accepted his shoulder to cry on. The three small wolves appeared and walked over to Issei. Sir Zex was ready to kill them, but the wolves showed submission. They walked over to Issei and Kuroka and put their paws on them to comfort them. Even they understood what they were crying about. Issei and Kuroka saw only the one to provide support and accepted it. The wolves gave light kisses and tried to ease the pain. After the whole ordeal, they eventually went back home, and distance Orphis saw everything. Orphis didn't care about much or show much emotion, but seeing a fellow dragon suffer was something she wouldn't stand for. Orphis was pissed and opened a tear in a fabric of reality and entered the dimensional gap. Right in front of Orphis was Great Red, a large red dragon around 1,000 meters with 4 wings. What do you want, Orphis? Great Red said. Your help to end the suffering, Orphis said. To see you asking for my help is a sign that there's a great threat. What do you need? Great Red said. Back at the ballroom, Issei and Kuroka walked through everyone without saying a word, and their team followed, and their faces meant that they should be left alone. Kuroka kept her hand over her wound where she was stabbed. Most people figured out what had happened because they saw it. Sona and Cyroark went to Rias, and they sat all together. They all went through and cried a lot. As team Issei had left, Sir Zex announced what had happened to everyone, and yes, even Odin. Odin couldn't hold it in no more. He cried at what had happened. He blamed himself for being weak. If he was better father or tried harder to help Loki, then things would have been different. Issei would have kids with Kuroka, and he was the reason that they lost their unborn child, or maybe even children. Everyone went home to process what had happened. Issei and Kuroka cried and wailed in their room at the loss, and the others just alone in the dining room. Rosweitz stayed with them to both hear Odin's choice and Odin's orders. Volley got a message from Orphis that caught his attention and made him very angry. Volley immediately left and followed by Rosweitz, who wanted to make sure that he didn't go doing something stupid. Everyone took turns to check the couple and made sure that they knew that they had their support. For a while this continued. They mourned together. Even the wolves wouldn't stay with them and didn't leave their side. And that's the end of Chapter 32, Juggernaut Drive. Chapter 33, The Aftermath. Volley and Rosweitz went to meet Orphis. Volley, please tell me where we are meeting Orphis, Rosweitz said. We're going to the dimensional gap. She says that she has something important to show. The dimensional gap, Rosweitz said. Yes, Volley replied. Both go to the assigned location and see what Orphis is waiting for them. You brought a friend? Orphis said. We can trust her, Volley replied. Very well. Come. There's something you two should meet. There's someone who you two should meet. Who might that be? Rosweitz said. Orphis had already opened a tan in the dimensional gap. That would be me young Valkyrie, Great Red said. Great Red? Volley replied. Greetings, host of Albion. I see you brought your girlfriend. Girlfriend, Rosweitz said. I just met her recently. You're jumping to conclusions, Volley replied. Volley tried to act cool, but his blush was hard to cover up. Rosweitz was no different. Stop teasing, Red. We need to tell them the plan, Orphis said. Yes. The plan to kill him, right? Volley said. Who? Rosweitz replied. The true leader of the Chaos Brigade. Sir Zax Grafia, Team Rias, Team Riser, Team Sona, Team Biel, Serafal, Ajuka, and Azazel all came to visit the couple in their time of sorrow. Issei and his mate continued to mourn the loss, but Issei was troubled by something else. Him killing Loki was something he promised Odin that he wouldn't do, but he did it anyway. He took away that man's son from him, and forever, in being someone who just lost his soon-to-be-born child, could sympathize. The wolves shrunk to the size of small dogs and would sit on him in Kuroka's lap. Looking at them reminded of how Issei literally barbecued their master, no, their father, and fed them to him. A cruel act he didn't know he was capable of. Others tried to comfort him, but to no avail. Kuroka didn't say anything because she couldn't do anything. A month had passed, and things started to return to normal. At least it was for the others, but not for the unfortunate couple. "What are you thinking about, Issei?" Kuroka said. "Odin, and what I'll say to him when I have to face him. I killed his son, and that's worst, and I don't regret doing it because he nearly killed you and killed our other unborn. I don't know if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I just don't know anymore," Issei said. "He tried to bring Ragnarok upon us," Kuroka said. "I know, but I still look away a man's son. I don't know if that will fuck the alliance with Asgard or not. I tortured and blasted and fed him to his own wolves," Issei said. "You know, they seem to like you more than they cared for your Loki. They never let out our side since the fight." "Yeah, it helped a bit to ease the pain. They might be beasts of legend, but they still crave companionship," Issei said. "So why not make them our familiars?" Kuroka replied. "If that's what they want," Kuroka said. The wolves came to Issei and sat on his lap. I can only have one familiar, you know," Issei said. "I can take one of the little ones, but who will take care of the third?" "We will let them decide," Issei said. "A family meeting will solve that." "Yeah, let's go see the others. We've ignored them for a whole month now," Issei said. The couple came out of their rooms and called everyone. They all came running. "You called?" Byuko said. "That's an important issue we need to discuss," Kuroka replied, "which is adopting one of the three wolves as their familiar," Issei said. "That's quite the surprise, to have one of the legendary beasts as the familiar." "It almost sounds like a joke," Issei, Volley said. "Well, it's not. Fafnir chose me, and one of the runts chose Kuroka, but who will be the third?" Issei said. The third looked at the group and walked around them. The third wolf eventually picked Volley. "Well, Volley looks like you're his master now." "I guess I am," Volley said. "So, Byuko, I heard you asked about my sister," Kuroka said. Byuko was now sweating bullets. "Yeah, I did," Byuko said. "And what did she say?" "She said yes." "Good. So be good to her, and if you're not, then you know what'll happen." Byuko and the others clung to the wall, and so did the wolves from fear of a woman's wrath. "Of course I will be good, I promise." Kuroka returns to her usual self. "Okay, perfect. So who's hungry?" Kuroka said. "You guys go ahead and eat. I got some errands to run," Volley said. "You mean your date with a certain silver-haired Valkyrie?" Everyone goes, "Ooh, I do like her," Volley said. "We're happy for you, Volley," Arthur replied. "I think we should start renovations. We'll need a few more rooms since Ravel joined the team and needs a place to stay," Issei said. "I'm happy in sharing a room, Issei," Ravel said. "It's up to you. We're building extra rooms regardless. If you want to use one as your own, then it's fine," Issei said. "Thanks," Ravel replied. "So Byuko and Volley, have you two went on any dates yet?" Keokeo said. "No. After the fight with Loki, no one had the will to go out," Byuko said. "I had just recently met Roz Visa back then, so I didn't want to make it weird," Volley replied. "You should ask her out. Both of you clearly like each other, so do it," LaFay said. "But there's a problem that I don't know if it's alright. I get all flustered around here," Volley said. "Then why not make a grand gesture?" Irina said. "Like how Issei did for Kuroka when he made the glowing necklace," Zenobia said. "That's a good idea. Azazel can help," Issei said. "Sounds good. How about a double date, Byuko?" "I'm in," Byuko replied. Things finally almost felt normal, but Issei still dreaded talking to Odin. Issei and Volley go to visit Azazel, who welcomed them in open arms. As the guys who told their plan, Azazel was more than happy to help. He helped create a set of earrings from the tiny pieces of gem left behind, creating a necklace for Kuroka. Volley infused some of his hair into the substance for scales. The thin earrings were now silver and red. Time came. Issei and Kuroka went on a date to the park. Both their familiars in miniature states play together. Oh, how they loved to finally get to play. Kuroka and Issei couldn't help but envision a kid or two of their own playing with Fafnir and Runt. "Are you thinking what I'm thinking?" Issei said. "We can sense what the other wants, so yes, I want to try having kids," Kuroka said. Byuko and Shirone went on a double date, and Volley and Roz Vice, after enjoying a movie, both couples went their separate ways. So did you enjoy the movie? Volley said. I did. Deadpool 2 was hilarious. His fourth wall breaks are perfect, Rosvices said. They love Deadpool and Asgard, Volley said. They don't, but I love the MCU. It's my guilty pleasure, Rosvices said. I see you are a woman of cultures as well. Rosvices laughs and leans on Volley. It was now or never. I have something for you, Volley said. He hands her a small box. Rosvices looks and opens it. They are beautiful, Volley. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. You helped us, and who knows what had happened if you weren't there, so thank you. She puts on the earrings with a smile and blush. How do I look? Rosvices says. Volley seems a shrine from the earrings, pure white light coming from red and white gems that complicated her delicate skin and her soft silver hair. But what stood out more was her turquoise-colored eyes. They had shine in them that Volley just noticed. His heart skipped a beat. Too beautiful to describe. You're really sweet, Volley. Thank you. Rosvices took the initiative and kissed Volley. Volley returned her feelings and has been waiting to do that for a while. Volley goes home and Rosvices stay in the hotel room. She has liked him for a past month. Every day she would do her job and send reports about what was happening to Issei and Kuroka. That was the order given to her and half reason on staying on Earth. Issei and Kuroka had just finished their date, and they had both ended up with going to a place where they first met, the forest where Issei began his transformation, learning to love again. It was almost sunset, and the couple watched as it went down. Hey, love, there's something I want to ask you, Issei said. Yeah, Kuroka replied. Issei pulls out the box from his pocket dimension. Will you marry me? Issei said. Kuroka was speechless at his question. She stared at Issei, who was now on his knee and holding the box, revealing the ring. Tears streamed down in red streaks, and she laughed a bit when she said in a low voice, Yes, Kuroka said. Sorry, I didn't quite catch that. Yes, I'll marry you, Kuroka said. Issei was overwhelmed with the joy and put the ring on her finger. Kuroka looked at the ring and then jumped on Issei, then making out. One hell of a way to end a date. Volley on his way home encountered Orphis. It's time, Orphis said. Volley got serious. Now let's make it quick. The sooner he's dead, the better. Orphis and Volley go to the dimensional gap and meet up with Great Red. The three teleport together in the Chaos Brigade headquarters. Let's do this, Volley said. I have an idea, Great Red replied. What? Orphis said. I am the Dragon of Dreams. You are the Dragon of Infinity. Let's combine our powers and fuck up his mind and soul. We can create nightmares that would haunt him for eternity. Whoa, Volley said. Yes. An excellent idea. We shall make an example of him, then kill him, Orphis said. Great Red fires a fireball and destroys everything in sight. A being emerged from the rubble and came to face them. Hello, grandfather, Volley said. Rizavim Lucifer, you messed up, Orphis said. Orphis and Great Red, just what is going on here, Volley? I thought we were on the same side, Rizavim said. You sent Loki, didn't you? Yeah, and he still hasn't returned. Where is he? Rizavim said. Dead, Orphis said. What? You hurt all my friends. No, you hurt my family, and for the last time, old man. First my father, and then my mother, Volley said. Rizavim smirks. I just forced the Holy Grail out of the little vampire girl, and I didn't give her a choice. Either her or a little half-vampire friend. With this grail, I can alter reality, boy. What can you possibly do with the Orphis and Great Red? This, Great Red said. Both Great Red and Orphis combined their powers and shot a small bullet of energy towards Rizavim. He put up a shield but was too distracted to notice Volley already in his balance breaker and already behind him. Volley divided Rizavim's powers and the shield became too weak to stop the bullet. It hit Rizavim in the head and he fell to the ground. He started having seizures and convulsions immediately. What did you do to him? And making him feel fear, Great Red said. Rizavim's mind was constantly being torn apart by the dragons and creatures of the dark. Images of his sons whom he killed appeared endlessly, spewing words filled with venom. The pain he feeling was intensified endlessly, making him each nightmare worse than the last. Let's go take him to the Devil Kings, Orphis said. Wait, Volley replied. Volley picks up the Holy Grail Rizavim dropped and went to the lab hidden underneath the HQ. Volley sees the girl on the table, barely alive, and even with her sacred gear being removed forcefully. She immediately started showing signs of improvement. He placed it in her and emerged with her again. Volley looked around and saw the little vampire in the cage. Hey, you okay? What's your name? Volley said. My name is Gasper, sir. Please don't hurt me or Valerie, the vampire said. I am not here to hurt you or your friend. I'm here to free you. Rizavim can't hurt you anymore, Volley said. Is Valerie going to be okay? Gasper replied. She'll be fine. Do you two want to have a home? Volley said. No, sir. Rizavim destroyed it when we tried to escape, Gasper said. Then come with me. My family and friends would love to have you in their home, Volley said. Gasper goes with Volley, and they take Valerie with her. Orpheus takes Rizavim to Sir Zex along with Valerie and Gasper. Great Red said his farewell and went back to the dimensional gap. As soon as they arrive at Sir Zex's office, Orpheus dropped Rizavim before him. "Is that Rizavim Lucifer?" Sir Zex said. "Yes, my grandfather and the leader of the Chaos Brigade. He sent Loki." "I'll call Odin here immediately. He needs to know this," Sir Zex said. Sir Zex calls Odin along with Azazel, and the Devil Kings ask him to come right away. "He'll be there soon. Now, who are your friends?" Sir Zex said. "This sleeping girl is Valerie, and this is Gasper. They lost their home to Rizavim." "Pleasure to meet you, sir," Gasper said. "Likewise, Gasper." Gasper is quite young and us very shy. Sir Zex found him to be adorable and thought about their living situations. "Gasper, I'm sorry for what Rizavim did to you and Valerie, and hope you will accept my offer to help you find a new home. My sister is like a devil, and I would treat you like family. You don't have to accept right away. Take your time. As long as Valerie is with me, then I'm happy, sir." "Glad to hear it," Gasper replied. Sir Zex said. Valerie wakes up gathering her wits, and she is kept up to speed on the events. Sir Zex calls Rias and her team, who show up in 2 minutes. "Rias, there are 2 people who need a home, and I think being part of your team would be perfect. Meet Gasper and Valerie," Sir Zex said. The introductions continue. They hit off perfectly. Both Valerie and Gasper accept her proposal to become part of her parade. Gasper was now her bishop, and second, Valerie her pawn. Valerie called Issei and the others, including Ross Visa. Volley called Issei, my bad. When they showed up, Odin arrived at the same time. Issei was dreading what he was now about to face. Grafia, Juka, Saraval, and Azazel also came. "Hello, everyone," Odin said in a broken voice. Clearly, he was still heartbroken about Loki. Everyone bowed in respect. Issei avoided making even eye contact with him. "I'm glad everyone is here." Volley and Orpheus brought forth the end of the Chaos Brigade. The man squirming on the floor is Rizavim Lucifer, and the head of the Chaos Brigade. He also made Loki attack us. Everyone spent eye wide open and gasped. "But why?" Juki said. "My grandfather Rizavim here was of the old Devil Kings, a direct offspring to the original Lucifer. He wanted the new ones gone by using the Holy Grail, and that's where Valerie comes in since she wields it. He also planned to release the Triaxa, aka 666. I found those notes in his lab." Azazel choked on his scotch. "But Rizavim being a direct descendant is very strong, so how did you manage to do this to him?" Seraphal said. Volley tells them what he and Orpheus and Great Red did. "If anyone would excuse me, I need to speak with the Red Dragon Emperor alone, please," Odin said. Those words made Issei stiff. And that's the end of Chapter 33, The Aftermath. Chapter 34, The Unavoidable Conversation and Craziness. Odin walked into a room with Issei, and no one dared to follow. This was something both Odin and Issei needed to talk about alone. The doors sealed shut, and no one dared to even listen to their conversation. The silence was too much. Father, Issei started. "I don't blame you, Issei Hyoudou. Loki was my son and my responsibility, and I placed that burden on you and your family because I was too weak in every way that mattered. My weakness caused the loss of your unborn and nearly your mate, and nothing can make up for that. I am truly sorry," Odin said. "Why? Why don't you hate me? I killed him. I burned him alive and fed him to wolves so that you don't hate me. Why not kill me? Hurt me. Get some revenge or something. Do anything," Issei said. "No, Issei. Loki made his choices that led him to his fate. He always was the black sheep of the family. Yes, I lost my son, but your loss, your unborn, your every soul nearly perished if Loki unleashed Ragnarok, and I'm partly to blame for that. If I had tried harder to stop Loki, then things might have been different." Issei just sat there in silence. His brother Thor really did treat Loki like a brother and his equal in hopes that he would change for the better. It's clear that Loki was a dark soul who meant to end up the way he did. "I can only hope you can find in your heart to forgive this foolish old man," Odin said. "There's nothing for me to forgive when you did nothing wrong," Issei said. Odin shed tears of regret and sorrow. Issei couldn't hold it anymore and hugged Odin. Issei kept repeating the same 2 words. I'm sorry, Issei said. Issei also cried and let out all of his frustrations. His guilt lessened when Odin also hugged him. "There's something I would like to ask for you to do for me, Issei," Odin said. "Anything, just name it," Issei said. "Please take Ross Visa into your team. I can tell just from looking at her she's happier with the White Dragon Emperor," Odin said. "Only if you come to the wedding and visit us when Kuroka and I have children," Issei said. "You're getting married at such a young age too?" Odin smiled and laughed. Very well, I accept your terms, Issei, Odin said. Thank you, Issei replied. Also, I heard that Kuroka and Volley adopted the wolves, Odin said. Truth be told, they chose us. All they wanted was to stop fighting and enjoy themselves with those they care about, Issei said. You continue to amaze me and everyone in Asgard. To kill a god and make a legendary beast you're familiar. Truly the stuff of legends. Now tell me, where do you plan to get married? Odin said. Not sure yet, Issei replied. Then how about Asgard? Odin replied. Wait, are you sure about that? Issei said. I am, Odin said. I'm grateful for the offer, but worry not. Thor and I had a talk. He feels the same way as I and holds no ill will towards you. He would love to meet you, Odin said. Do you mind if I talk it over with the others? I had already asked Zex to marry us off. Of course, my boy, Odin said. Both shared a heartfelt hug and walked out the door. Everyone was there waiting for them. Tense atmosphere was gone. Both Issei and Odin had found peace. Everyone waited either Issei or Odin to say something, but Kuroka was most relieved that Issei wasn't hurt. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'll get to the point. I hold no grudge against Issei and Zex. The alliance will exist between us. That's what I assume you expected to hear, Odin replied. Honestly, I am relieved and confused at the same time, Zex said. Anyone would be. I accepted my mistake, which was not handling my son's actions. I placed my responsibility as a burden to the young ones, and they paid the price for it. And for that, Kuroka and Issei, I am sorry, Odin said. There's nothing to forgive, Kuroka said. The very same words Issei said. Also, you can have your wedding in Asgard as a start for making things up to you, Odin said. Kuroka and everyone else, a wedding in Asgard? Wait, a wedding? Kuroka showed off her ring. Yeah, he offered, and I wanted to ask you guys if you were okay with it, Issei said. Grafia grabbed Issei by the collar of his jacket. You already proposed and didn't tell us, Grafia said. Everyone except Odin, Rosweise, and Orpheus, including the vampires. Yeah, why didn't you tell us? All of the girls went shopping for the ring together, and you didn't even tell us? Kuroka said yes. When did you propose? Where? Details, bro, Irina said. I proposed at our favorite spot in the forest, Issei replied. He did it just as the sun set. It was quite romantic, Kuroka said. Wait, sunset? As in yesterday, Lefay said. Yeah, why? And you didn't tell them, Issei? Rosweise said. At the moment, Issei knew he fucked up. Oops. I'm going to kill you, Grafia said. You all went ring shopping without us, Ria said. Accurately, without you three, Shirone said. Rias, Akano, and Azia look at Shirone. You knew? I helped them pick the ring, Shirone said. That left the three with Dark Cloud over their heads, and it was a great choice, Shirone, Issei said. Thanks, bro. Odin can't help but laugh at the sight. He sees Rosweise and Volley laughing together in the corner. B walks over them and says, Rosweise, I need you to do one last thing for me, Odin said. Of course, All-Father, but what do you mean by one last thing? Be happy. Join Issei's Parage and quit being my guard. Choose your own path, but I think you already know what you want, Odin said. Odin said, looking at Volley. But All-Father, I'm Valkyrie, sworn to protect Asgard, Rosweise said. You did. Loki was always the biggest threat to our home, and now he's gone for good. You have fulfilled your duty and live your life. Volley, I trust you take care of her. She may have been my guard, but she doesn't mean I don't know how a beautiful soul when I see one. Take care of my dear. I have to go back now, Odin said, now tearing up. Thank you, All-Father, Rosweise said. And thank you. Everyone in this room will have songs sung in their names, including you, the only Valkyrie that helped stop Loki and Fafnir, Odin said. Odin teleported, and the others bid farewell. Guys, I wasn't included in the ring search either, Serafal said. She was hurt by being left out. Serafal may be a devil king, but she's still a young maiden in a heart, want to enjoy life. Oh shit, everyone said. Well, how about all of us girls go looking for a bridal and braids dresses together? Just us girls while the guys look for suits, Kuroka said. Grafia's eyes had stars with an alarming grin. When do we start? Grafia said. In a month or two. I want to enjoy engaged a little longer, Kuroka said. Yeah, it's the best to enjoy every bit of it, Ravel replied. Everyone slowly started to leave. Ajuka and Azazel asked Issei visit them at the lab later. Now only Issei and Rias were left. Rias? Issei said. So you're getting married and soon. Just last year, you were a thin, scrawny guy. Now look at you, a high class, in love and getting married, Rias said. Yeah, quite the change. Issei, am I invited to the wedding? Rias said. Of course you are. Why would you ask that? Because I want to know about the gem that Kuroka wears. The amount of light you can see from it depends on how much you love someone, Rias said. Issei just sits there in silence. I overheard the others talking about it. They could see it, but I couldn't, Rias said. Issei just sits there and says, Rias, I know you don't love me, but by now I had hoped you would a little bit. Issei said, Rias. Do you not love me, not even a little bit? Just a little bit isn't too much to ask? Rias started to now weep. Rias! Issei said. Issei's shouting got her attention. Do you have the pawn piece? Issei said. Always. Issei takes the pawn piece from her and transfers some of his energy into it. Now you do the same. Alright. Rias does as she's told. The pawn piece is now black and crimson. Rias didn't understand what it meant. It has both of our signatures on it. We are linked in a small extent. If you ever feel in trouble, then hold the piece and call out my name. I'll be there, Issei said. So are you my pawn again in a way? Rias said. No, more like partners and fellow kings. See you around, Red. Take care of Gasper and Valerie. You got a chance to do right by them, Issei said. Issei teleports home and leaving Rias alone. Rias looked at the piece and it was glowing. She smiled. Thank you, Issei. Kuroka, be good to him. I sure wasn't, Kuroka said. And that's the end of Chapter 34. Unavoidable conversation and craziness. Chapter 35. New Beginnings in the Epilogue. As time went by, everyone was at peace knowing that the Triaxa won't be released, and Rizavima is basically a schizophrenic now and forever. He was later used as an example for all those who wanted to cause trouble. The crime rate dropped significantly. During more meetings between the leaders of Devil, Fallen, and Odin, they all grew closer and the alliance was strong. After a month or two, a happy couple was preparing their wedding. The guys had already picked suits, but the girls took their sweet time shopping. Issei, Volley, and Gasper were training just to kill time. What's the way to get stronger? Gasper said. Well, one of the tricks is to pretend you're stronger than your opponent. Issei said. Is that what you do? Oh no. My power is no illusion. I can fucking demolish you, Issei said. Gasper just looked up in surprise. Volley, Albion, and Drake laughed internally. So I gotta ask, will you accept his offer to get married in Asgard? Gasper said. Honestly, I'm not sure. For Odin to be so kind after what I did, it feels wrong if I did just accept, but I heard him and I refused, then I'm just insulting him, Issei said. It's quite the dilemma, Drake said. Issei, what if Kuroka says yes? What would you do for her sake? Albion said. I would do anything for her, Issei replied. Odin offered it to both of you. Yeah, he did, Issei said. As the guys conversed, some of the girls came back. We're back now, guys, Kuroka said. Hey, babe, there's something I need you to talk about. There's something we need to talk about. It's about Odin's offer, isn't it? You know me so well, so I need to know, is it the right thing to accept it? I can't understand how you feel after what happened, but I think we should. It might be some good we can imagine, Kuroka said. That is a possibility. You should do it, partner. For once I agree with Drake, Albion said. Alright, then if you guys say so, now what I'm all think about. Getting married in Asgard. I never imagined that I'd get such an offer. Believe it. Even Ross Weisse thinks that it's the best thing ever. That reminds me. Back in the office, Odin asked me to tell you this, Volley said. Tell me what? Issei said. Accepted Ross Weisse into your team. Wait, what? Issei said. Volley told him about what Odin said, and Ross Weisse was happier to hear. Issei was constantly being surprised by Odin's kind actions. Anything, if she's happier here, then so be it. I owe Odin a lot, and this is a good start, Issei said. Volley texted Ross Weisse the good news, who showed up right away. Is it true? You want me in your parade, Weisse said? Yes, 3 reasons why. 1, Odin wants you to be happy. 2, you yourself wants this. 3, Volley clearly loves you, and that makes you family. Those earrings were custom made for you, out of courtesy of Volley. Volley was now giving Issei the death stare for spilling his secret. Issei takes out his rook piece. Welcome to the family, Ross Weisse. Issei says, thank you for accepting me, Ross Weisse replies. The rook piece merged with her, and 3 pairs of black fallen wings came out of the flecks of silver instead of red. Volley was memorized. Ross Weisse felt amazing and began to fly. She looked at Volley midair, who gestured for him to come up. Volley spread his 10 devil wings and flew up. So these earrings were custom made, huh? Ross Weisse replied. Yes, I wanted to give you something beautiful and unique, Volley said. Oh, really? Well, then come back to the house. It's finished and has extra rooms, so let's check them out quick, Ross Weisse said. She winks and smiles seductively. Volley smirked and agreed. They immediately flew home and started to get into their rooms. Volley, close your eyes for a minute and don't open until I tell you, Ross Weisse says. Volley said, okay, sure. Volley covers his eye and then heard the sound of clothes being changed, and he couldn't but help but peek. After doing so, he removed his hand and his jaws dropped. Hello, Volley, I told you not to open your eyes, you naughty devil, she teased. Now that you saw it, how do I look? Wow, just wow, Volley said. Now let's have a little fun. Basically, they have sex. You're welcome for spoiling that part. I'm not going to read that shit. Both got right to it and didn't give a shit. Too bad poor Ravel and Shrone sitting in the next room were blushing and shaking after writing the Pegasus comment. Poor girls, and it only got worse after hearing Issei and Kuroka in the other room doing it too. Hey, I got a surprise for you. Check this out, Kuroka said. Holy crap, Issei replied. Come and wrap your present lover. They got right into it. This time Ravel's head caught fire and Shrone's tails were stiff and let out a purr. She clearly getting the wrong ideas on what to do with Byaku later. After the day ended, Issei went to visit Odin and talked to him about his offer. Issei told him exactly why he was hesitant, and Odin smiled at his honesty. Odin insisted that they get married in Asgard, and Issei asked what he wanted to do. Alright, I'll accept your offer, but we want you to be the grandfather of our kids when we have them. I would love that, Issei. Having 1 or 2 little ones playing around would be nice, Odin said. There might be more than 1 or 2. She and I want a big family over time, Issei said. Ha, I love kids. The more the merrier, my boy, Odin said. Also, Razvaisa joined us. She and Vali are happy together. I'm glad to hear it. When is the wedding? Odin said. In 2 weeks from today. Okay, I'll see you all there. The hall is grand and large enough for everyone. Just come to Asgard and see yourself. We will handle the decorations, Odin said. Thank you, all father. And thank you for making me part of your family, my boy, Odin said. Both share a heartfelt hug and go their separate ways. They prepared for the wedding and decorations are complete. The time had come, and the happy couple were officially married in front of their friends and family. Sir Zex and Odin officiated the wedding together and making them an official married couple both in Asgard and the underworld. The ceremony went perfectly and everyone enjoyed. Sharone was the maid of honor, Gasper was the ring bearer, and the 3 wolves of the Lion of Nema played in the open fields. Orpheus and Great Red joined the party, scaring quite a few people, but everyone vouched for him as it was all good. Everyone danced and enjoyed themselves. The newly married couple looked at Vali and Razvaisa dancing that saw they both secretly hoped for, the mating bond. Celtic markings appeared on Vali's hands, while 10 small devil wings-like markings appeared on her back. Luckily, she was wearing a blacklist dress, just like the other bridesmaids. They also spotted Saji and Karina having a good time. Looks like another wedding isn't too far off, Kuroka said. Yeah, I wonder how he will propose. I hope better than my original plans, Issei said. Original plans? Kuroka questioned. I wanted to propose at home, but that was too cliche, and then maybe at a party before Loki, but I didn't. How come? Kuroka said. Because that moment was ours alone, and if I did it in front, so many people of peer pressure would have been cruel. I didn't want any outside force making you guys say yes or no. It was your choice alone to make, Issei said. You really amaze me, lover. The place where we got engaged was a perfect place, Kuroka said. Yeah, it was truly the perfect place. If it wasn't, then we would have made it so. I got you something, Kuroka said. Issei opens the small box inside his pregnancy test and it's positive. No way, Issei said. Yup, we're going to be parents. Ha, our family will just be a whole lot bigger, Issei said. Issei was happy, and so was Kuroka. Sir Zex and Gravia show up. How are the newlywed married doing, Sir Zex said. Issei shows them the pregnancy test and they barely contain their composure. Would you be their godfather? Gravia can be their godmother, if that's okay with you, Kuroka asked. We would love to, at both at the same time. I always wanted to be a godmother, Gravia said. She was no longer acting like a composed queen. What's going on here? Odin said. All-father, you're about to become the all-grandfather, Issei said. The drummer among the musicians couldn't resist. Ba-dum-ts. I like the sound of that. Congrats, you two. Issei and Kuroka at the same time. Thank you. The news spread like wildfire, and everyone congratulated them and cheered them on. The warriors of Asgard bowed respect to Issei the fallen dragon king, a god slayer and tamer of Fafnir. Songs were written about everyone who took part in stopping Loki. They all became legends. In time, they enjoyed their honeymoon. Issei went to Azazel and found out why the Juggernaut Drive looked different as compared to the past users of it. His king piece allowed him to use it without using his life force, but a time limit existed in its place. Issei could only use it once a month, and Issei and Kuroka had 5 kids right off the bat. Most of them were girls, but all had tiny fallen wings and cute cat ears, while their son had mostly dragon and fallen features. Vali and Razvaisa also got married after 2 years and had 2 kids of their own. Kiba and Tsubaki also got engaged, and so did Byuko and Sharone after 3 years. Odin was now a proud grandfather and very happy. The kids absolutely loved him. The wolves played with the kids and protected them. Members of Team Rias were practically their aunts and uncle, while Gasper and Val gallery were elder siblings by bond. The remaining members of the team Issei bonded with Team Rias to the point where Arthur and Keokeo, Rias and Akina respectively. Keokeo, Arthur, and Lefay later became devils to live a long life. Saji and Karina got married and had 3 kids of their own. Since all of them were supernatural beings, they all lived a very long and happy life. That is the end of the Fallen Dragon King. Chapter 35, New Beginnings. That is the end. Thank you so much for all your guys' support, and that will be the end of the story. Remember, please stay in tune for the next stream. What If Issei Found Out the Truth will be the next series. I am recording this currently today. I did see the poll. I know it won by like a whopping 68%. Remember to please stay tuned for that stream. I keep forgetting to mention this stream will be on Spartanic, my YouTube channel, by the way, just for specifics. And no, yes, the girl will be sitting right next to me. This isn't like a Discord call. This is like a real life thing. So once again, subscribe to my second channel if you haven't already. What If Goku Was the God of Destruction Part 2 is out. Once again, thank you all for the support. It's been absolutely amazing. Please, let's try to hit 1,000 likes for this bomb-ass part. And once again, I really do appreciate all the support. It really does mean the heart. It really helped me out of the hard times, if you understand what I'm saying. Thank you so much for all the support once again. Without further ado, Spartanic Arts DxD out.